Did you know that the housing market right now is going through some of the largest price cuts ever recorded in American history? That means even bigger price cuts than what we saw during the 2008 housing crash, guys. Like the other day, I told you that the housing crash is happening and it's happening fast. Well, it's really speeding up right now when you look at these price cuts, okay? The typical US listing right now, according to Zillow, saw $25,000 in cumulative price cuts in October. That's just 1 month. Okay, that's not including all the other price cuts some of these listings might have gotten before that. And this is the largest discounts Zillow has ever recorded. So this is a major, major deal and shows us that the housing market has reached a massive turning point right now in favor of buyers, okay? The individual price cuts are around $10,000, but multiple reductions per listing are becoming common, and that's how we're getting to that $25,000 number. And here's the thing, this is all happening because listings aren't moving. In a lot of situations, homes are sitting on the market for 60 days or longer, which is pretty much where we were at pre-pandemic. But the difference between now and then is back then we had a bunch of buyers. You had a huge pool of buyers. We were selling around 6 million homes a year pre-pandemic. Now it's around 4 million homes per year, with many of those homes being luxury transactions. We're talking homes that are $500,000, $750,000, or even over $1 million or more, where only the wealthy are buying real estate today. Now, before you shed a tear for the sellers, it's not like many of them are really losing from this. A lot of people have seen a tremendous increase in value in their homes over the past 5 years. So if you had a house that was worth 250 grand and now you can ask 450,000 for it, it's not a huge deal if you have to cut the price by 50 grand. It is a huge price reduction, but nonetheless, they're still coming out pretty far ahead than they would have 5 years ago. Now, according to Zillow, this is the part I'm really skeptical about, but they say that these price cuts are now helping to fuel the most active fall housing market in 3 years. But I already kind of debunked that the other day when we talked about how, there was a slight uptick in the October figures when it comes to pending sales, but pending sales are not closed sales, first of all. So you don't even know how many of these deals are going to close. And it was a minute increase. It was like 1.5 or 1.3% increase. It wasn't a big deal. But of course, Zillow's job is to put a spin on the housing market to make it seem like everything is just booming again. So the metros that saw the largest price reductions were actually way above that average $25,000 amount. Take a look at this. In San Jose, California, $70,000 was the average price cut. Los Angeles, $61,000. San Francisco, $59,000. New York saw $50,000. And San Diego also saw $50,000. Of course, there's many more. I'll scroll the list here on the screen so you guys can see the size of the price cuts that are happening. And it's not just in California, it's all over the country. And the interesting part to me is we're even seeing price cuts in what we're being told are very strong markets right now. Like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for example, is still a very strong market where it's actually still cheaper to buy than it is to rent. And even a place like that is still seeing a 9% discount right now, with the average price cut being around $20,000. You're also seeing 9% price cuts in New Orleans, Austin, Texas, Houston, San Antonio. Even in markets that are still relatively hot, you're still seeing sizable price cuts. Oklahoma City, you're seeing $15,000 price cuts. Louisville, Kentucky is $15,000 in price cuts. St. Louis, Missouri is $15,000 in price cuts. Even Detroit is seeing $17,000 price cuts right now. And the reason why that's important is because all of those markets that I just mentioned are selling homes faster than the national average right now, meaning that those markets are still relatively hot. Those are areas in the country where prices are still going up and homes are transacting relatively quickly. And if they even have to cut the price there to get the home sold, well, that really shows you that the game is changing right now. So this is all adding up to a situation where both buyers and sellers have to change their strategy pretty quickly, pretty much on a dime right now. Buyers have to understand that they no longer need to be nearly as competitive and can ask quite a bit more in terms of discounts, in terms of incentives, in terms of seller concessions to get a house sold. And sellers really have to follow the market and pay attention to what their real estate agent is telling them. And if they're still promising them the moon and under delivering, it is time to fire them, guys, and get somebody new. This house right here just shows you how slow the market is, especially here in Miami, guys. Look at this house. They've been trying to sell this house really since 2016. So almost 10 years on and off, they've been listing this house for sale. And I remember this house was for sale before I left for my trip to California, which was over 5 months ago. And they bought this house in 2013 for just a little over $1 million. So they have lots of room to come down in price. But their most recent listing price is $5.25 million, which is even higher than the $5.1 million they had it listed for back in 2022 during the height of the housing market mania. So this house behind me, whoever owns this house, you can see, is the epitome of an out-of-touch seller, guys. When you've been trying to sell a house for 9 years on and off and been unsuccessful, that pretty much tells you that you are completely out of touch with the market, and so is whoever's listing this house for sale. You know, everybody's just kind of taking a chance, you know, and going fishing. The problem is they're fishing with no bait, you know? Have you ever caught a fish throwing just a hook in the water with no worm? Probably not. Well, that's what these listings are. Those are hooks in the water with no worm. Nobody in their right mind is going to pay more for this house than what they would have had to pay during the height of the housing market. And Miami home prices have already come down about 7 or 8% just in the past year. And so I can guarantee you that house is just going to continue sitting there for sale indefinitely. Probably next year and a year from now, when I walk down this same street, we're going to see that same house for sale again. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. And by the way, today I'm walking down 103rd Street here in Miami Shores. And I want to share a comment with you guys that one of my viewers put on one of my most recent real estate videos that shows you that waiting really can pay off in this market. This person says, "Thanks to you, Michael, as I waited and I found a better deal than over the last 3 or 4 years because I waited. It's all because of the things I learned on your channel." This is exactly what I've been hoping that people are going to get out of these real estate videos in particular, is they look at the data and you realize that, yeah, now's probably not the greatest time. The trends are moving in my direction, in my favor as a buyer. And if I just hang on and continue good financial habits, I'm going to come out ahead. And this person did, and I would imagine many others are going to as well. But it also means that you need to ignore listings like that one that we just saw. Like, obviously most people are not looking for a $5 million home, but the principle can still be applied to any market at any price point, guys. When you see homes that have been repeatedly listed for sale, repeatedly higher than market value, those listings might as well not ever exist. And that's why it's so important to know your local market. You know, if you have no idea what a house should cost, then you don't really know how overpriced it is.